Welcome back to the final episode, the wrap-up episode of the basketball card value tracking series. We were going all bubble long. I just graphed out all of the data points we gathered over these last few weeks. And, this is probably the most advanced basketball card statistic video that exists on the internet right now. So make sure you watch the whole thing. The 5 guys that we tracked in our Burgers and Fries segment all bubble long were Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic, Kawhi Leonard, and De'Aaron Fox. And we chose these guys kind of because they were a broad spectrum of just like people I wanted to track personally. Guys that, like Giannis and Kawhi that are like top 5 guys in the league, big expensive card prices, and then rising guys like Jason Tatum and Luka Doncic, and then guys that I just I wanted to track De'Aaron Fox personally because he was kind of a different category than all of these guys, not really on a great team, but a good player, a guy that is talked about in like basketball card investing in general a decent amount. And I, have a few of his cards, so we tracked De'Aaron Fox. So right before we get into the graph, this is how it's going to go. I'm going to show the graph. I'm going to then go over each individual player's plotted out line. There's different points of interest on the line of his price, right? And then I'm going to kind of talk about what I learned from this graph and tracking this data over this time can be used to generally just kind of know more about the basketball card market in general and how you might want to invest cards based on this data. All right, so here we are with the graph. As you can see, we marked where the playoffs began, and there are kind of individual little points of interest on each of the players' lines. So first of all, let's jump into Giannis. His card reached a high during the tracking of $7,080. The peak there, it didn't really coincide with any of the good things they were doing. Like the peak, honestly, was probably around the time that the Bucks sat out the game against the Magic. So just lots of publicity, lots of headlining. Like it was Giannis and the Bucks in the media that whole time, and then it kind of didn't go up anymore from there, right? So they started playing the Heat. It started to drop. They started to not play well. Giannis got hurt, so he was out a game, that series, and they lost. And as you can see, even throughout being named Defensive Player of the Year, being named MVP, it didn't really do anything to his value to put it up. So it just kept going down regardless of those, incredible career accolades. Yeah, and Giannis went down and is currently around $3,500, $3,700 as we look at his prices today. So that's Giannis over the last 3 months. The next guy, Jason Tatum, you can see him here in the red. Pretty steady card, honestly. Obviously, you can, like these lower value ones, you don't really see the spikes as steeply just because that's the scale of the graph. But Jason Tatum was at a high of 983 around the time that they started their series against the Raptors. Right after they swept Philly there, you see it kind of pops up a bit. And then it kind of just steadily declined after that. He didn't, play amazing. He played well. They beat the Raptors in that Game 7 win there, and then just slowly kind of dwindled as they played the Heat and got beat by them. So that's Jason Tatum's there. Next guy on the list, Luka Doncic in the yellow. You can see he spiked right at the beginning of the playoffs. Luka's peak was $2,063 right at the start of the playoffs there. He was just playing super well in that Clippers series. That game winner kind of steadily kept his card along that higher little path there on the top, and then when he got eliminated, you see it drop down a bit, and it didn't really decrease too sharply, but is just kind of steadily going down, as you see with most of the cards after elimination. The next guy, Kawhi Leonard, the one that was consistently going up even when other cards were going down, like Giannis and Tatum and Luka. As you can see, Kawhi reached a peak price of $4,911 there at their 43-point win against the Mavericks as they kind of put that series away, but his prices declined pretty much after that. It went down just a bit as they started to struggle against the Nuggets, and then when they got eliminated, you see there, it plummeted way down low, and his cards were like under 2,000 for a couple weeks there. That is Kawhi. Embarrassing loss for the franchise, and bam, his card goes down. So final guy, De'Aaron Fox, basically steadily moving along from around 200, reaching a peak of 297 after he was even eliminated. I didn't even mark anything on there because obviously playoffs begin is the point when he wasn't playing anymore, so he missed a few games in the regular season comeback of the bubble, and obviously he wasn't even in the playoffs. So yeah, De'Aaron Fox, obviously the cheapest card in here, obviously the guy on the worst team among all these guys, so thus getting the the least coverage of any of them in the media, which brings me to like the main point that I learned with this whole tracking escapade, and I will make that main point after we hear from our sponsor this week. Today we want to give a big thank you to NBA Top Shot, the channel's first official sponsor. So you guys, they deserve your attention. What NBA Top Shot is a collecting platform that has these like digital moments of NBA history. They're kind of like cards, but they're like a digital collectible built on the blockchain. NBA Top Shot is officially licensed by the NBA and the NBA Players Association with investors like Andre Iguodala, JaVale McGee, Spencer Dinwiddie, Aaron Gordon. The thing is, with the digital collectibles, you don't have to worry about eBay, sellers, fake stuff. If the moment is like serial numbered to 1,000, there exist only 1,000 of them because it's digital. You can't make a fake one. Really similar to cards. They all come out in packs. There's common packs, rare packs, legendary packs. Like tiers of stuff, and each pack guarantees that you get one item like of its rarity in there. And you can like look at the marketplace of like completed sales on the platform itself. There are LeBron moments selling for $5,000, $3,000, $4,000. It's crazy because on average, the return that you can get from each of the packs is more than the value of the pack. And it's crazy. And the things sell out like instantly. It's like 5:30 right now. They released a new pack at 5. I went to it at like 5 minutes later and it was all sold out. It's like a real company pulling real crazy numbers. So if you guys are interested in starting your NBA Top Shot digital collection, use my link down below in the comments. It'll be the first link in the description and in the comments. You can support me through using that link. So really appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Big shout out to the first sponsor of the channel, the official real sponsor in this time, guys. So thank you, NBA Top Shot. Check them out with a link in the description. So the main point of all this that I learned and what I kind of realized pretty soon off in it is that if guys are playing, if they're in the media, if people are talking about them, that's what drives the card prices. As you can see in some of these points, team success and player success didn't 100% correlate to their cards going up. I mean, you see here like Kawhi and the Clippers like blowing out the Mavs in that game was his high point, but then on the same series you see Luka hit a crazy game winner, but his card went down that week. So I think almost like as an aggregate of basketball in general, when basketball is getting popular, the cards will go up, and generally and a lot of times these individual players that pop off, unless it's like a penny stocks type player like you had Bol and he had that one crazy game and for that 1 week his cards were super hot because the card was basically going for nothing, and then the market kind of like just set a price, that like percentage gain was really high. But with these cards that are already like regularly being traded at good prices, it seems like when they have a good game, it doesn't affect them too much because their whole body of work is still like, okay, everyone knows this guy's a good player and his card's kind of going to steadily creep up. Whereas like someone that hasn't really done anything, once they do something once, bam, their card like spikes super high. In like the Bol case, or kind of Tyler Hero, you saw that this year, his card was kind of just going up and up and up all year really as the Heat had success in the playoffs. He remained rising, but then when they started to lose, plummeted straight back down. Whereas a more established guy like Jimmy Butler, his cards kind of are staying high and not going back down to like nothing, like you see with some when they spike and then they go down, But so what you can do with this information is know that like guys that are good, guys that we know are good, are gonna go up when the league is popular. Okay, so we know the season is going to be coming back 2021 at some point, whether it's Christmas or January or February or whatever. Cards, as you can see, are all down now. This graph here, everything went down after the guys got eliminated. Basketball's not on. People aren't talking about it. People aren't maybe talking about basketball cards themselves explicitly, as much because it's just not on. People aren't talking about it. I mean, maybe people are talking about it, but it's not like a daily, this happened today, this happened the next day, and this happened, like this might happen tomorrow, because there's just nothing happening. So I think what you're going to see is a big dip in card prices, which we have seen, like look at the graph, it goes up and then it goes down, right? I gathered this data myself, like there are market analytics tools, that cost money that I don't want to spend, that you could probably see this information for yourself, not manually like I did. But if I were to guess what this graph looked like stretch back months, I would guess that cards were going up, then they went down a bit before like when the season ended. And once I started tracking these cards and the season was about to come back, everything was going up every single week. So I expect that to happen again for the return of next season. So these guys like Kawhi Leonard, Giannis, that have taken huge dumps after being super high are gonna go back up super high again. Like, these are great players. They're gonna start playing and having great games, and the talk is gonna be, oh, these guys are the shit, again, shortly once the season starts. So I think most cards are at a low right now, and that if you buy some cards now, they're probably gonna go up by the time the season rolls around again, and maybe some of these guys get named all-stars and stuff. So basically, that's the point, guys. Cards go down in the off season and they go up in the season. So thanks for tuning into this deep dive analytics video. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, for hitting the like button, everybody. Appreciate you guys watching. Leave comments on what you want me to make basketball card videos about. I've got some ideas like for the off season that are just kind of general basketball card information type ideas. So like comparing prices of PSA to BGS, how to sell basketball cards is an idea that a lot of people asked for, where I see the market in 5 to 10 years, things like that, going through the getting a card raw to graded to selling for profit, just that kind of whole timeline. What do you guys want to learn about? People ask me this all the time, but I'm not going to make videos that are like, what card to buy? What card should I buy? Who's undervalued? For one, I don't want to make videos like that because they're not going to be relevant in a month. They're also not helpful to actually teach how to analyze data and take data in yourself and make decisions based on your own knowledge and intuition. That's just like, you're not learning anything if I just say, buy this card, this card, and this card. And frankly, like, I don't really spend enough time analyzing basketball cards to make decisions like that. The time that basketball cards take up in my life is basically for me to make these videos, like, it's cool, it's a fun thing to do, but it's not like my number one thing that I'm always doing all the time. I just make videos about it. So it doesn't really help you to learn anything about basketball cards. It doesn't really help my channel to get videos that get views kind of all the time, and I don't really spend that much time on basketball cards in general. So that's why I don't make videos like that. But yeah, appreciate you guys. Catch you in the next one. See ya.